In this module, we will discuss an enhancement to forms available with SBM 11. Now, in SBM Composer, you can use application variables directly on custom forms to dynamically change their look and behavior. An application variable stores the value of a primary field. Let's take a look at how this can work. Here is the primary table for a simple process app for submitting and tracking issues. The field named Actual Urgency is the sum of two values, the priority and the severity level of an issue. We will configure the field named Urgency Threshold so that it will display a given threshold value. Then, on the form, we will highlight the urgency threshold value if our specified value is met or exceeded. To start, we need to define a rule that will use an application variable. We'll set the urgency threshold to be greater or equal to 6. We define this rule based on the actual urgency field. When we click Convert to Variable, this step creates the application variable, which we can now reference on our form. Let's view the custom form for transitions. We want to use the rule we just created to highlight the actual urgency field if the threshold has been reached. To do this, we need to define a new action for the form. We use the Form Action Wizard to define our logic. When this form is loaded, if the rule evaluates to true, then set the background color of urgency threshold to red. Finally, we want the urgency threshold text field to simply show the value of the application variable. In the string builder, application variables are prefaced with a percentage sign. This completes the setup. Now let's see how this looks in WorkCenter. We can do a quick deploy of our process app and then log on to WorkCenter. Since this application has just been deployed, we will need to add it to our list of favorites. Let's submit a new issue. You can see the variable correctly showing up in the urgency threshold field as 6. Let's set the priority and severity fields so that the threshold is exceeded. The value now appears in a background of red, signaling that the threshold has been exceeded. Finally, let's sign out of Serena Workcenter. This concludes this module about using application variables in forms in SBM Composer. For full documentation, visit help.serena.com.